What's going on, guys? It's Big Laz here, and what a crazy week it's been in the world of professional wrestling. Um, Going back to this past Saturday night, and on through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we still have Friday and Saturday to go. So let's go back in time real quick. Let's go back to Saturday night. We had three huge shows going head to head. We had AEW Collision and Battle of the Belts. We had New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley. We had TNA Hard to Kill, all in one night, going head to head, and it was awesome. I only saw one of these shows live. Guess which one? But, I still went out of my way to watch the other two shows because that's how much of a fan I am. And I have to say, out of the three shows, the one that was the best quality wrestling, in my opinion, was New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley. What a show. What a great show. And, it's that main event. Will Ospreay, AEW bound, versus Kazuchika Okada, who might be AEW bound. We'll get to that later, but this was a classic. This was a classic match. Ospreay and Okada wanted to do something special because it might be, this is a swan song, if you will, for Ospreay in New Japan for now. And it was awesome. And I would, if you're a wrestling fan, I would go out of my way to watch this, find it somehow. The other big news coming out of New Japan Battle in the Valley was the debut of Jack Perry, aka Jungle Boy. We haven't seen Jungle Boy since he was attacked by some random guy at Wembley Stadium in August. But here he is, and looks like he's doing a brand new gimmick, a new fresh start for his career. He came out to the ring at the end of a match, and he tore up his AEW contract in the ring, and so now he's going by the name or the moniker the Scapegoat. So I saw a lot of chatter online about this, people thinking that it's real, thinking that it's a big, what a big fumble by AEW, whatever. Listen, guys, AEW and New Japan, they're thick as thieves. They're working together. They're doing shows together. They're trading talent. Okay? So, if Jack Perry's on their show, TKO K'd it, or he knows about it, or hell, he may have even pitched the angle. So, basically, all this is AEW knew that Jack couldn't just return to TV like nothing happened. He couldn't just return to TV in AEW like with just a different angle or story. They needed to do something to really rehab his persona in the eyes of the fans. So basically, they're sending him on an excursion to New Japan Pro Wrestling so that way he can rehab his image and rehab his standing with the fans, and he'll come back bigger than he was when he left. It reminds me of Brian Pillman, 1996, Eric Bischoff, and WCW. Now, Brian Pillman, he was the loose cannon, and he concocted an idea with Eric Bischoff to basically work everybody. Bischoff would fire him, but for real. He would go to ECW, and he would basically be referred to as, oh, that guy from WCW that, he hates WCW and Eric Bischoff and this and that. He's a loose cannon. He's crazy. And he would do this. He would create some buzz, and he would come back to WCW bigger than he was when he left. That was the plan, except except Eric, I guess he didn't. That was the plan, but Brian Pillman had other ideas, and instead of going back to WCW, he screwed Eric and signed with the WWF, and that was that. So, but here I think we should give Tony Khan the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he's going to screw up like Eric did. I think he's got a good thing going on here with Jack and his new scapegoat character in New Japan. And I'm very curious to see where they go with it. I think that Jack will be there in New Japan for a better part of the year, building up his new character there, getting wins, having feuds, and eventually, when he's ready, he'll come back to AEW, and he'll be a major player for the company. The other big news that came out of the show was Jon Moxley challenged Naito for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It's Jon Moxley's first shot at the belt, and it's going to be awesome. They're going to have that match at New Japan's next United States pay-per-view in Chicago, Windy City Riot, at the Wintrust Arena, which it is a place where Jon Moxley won his first AEW title at Revolution 2020. So that's interesting. I don't think Moxley's going to beat Naito. I could be wrong, but that would be awesome if he did, to have the IWGP heavyweight title in AEW to be defended there. But I think Naito will retain that match and eventually drop the belt at Wrestle Kingdom next year at the Tokyo Dome. But still, it'll be a great match. And that was New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley. Good show. Very good show. I would highly recommend it. Just, if not for anything else, just to see Okada and Will Ospreay. Next up was TNA Hard to Kill. I enjoyed this show. I have watched other Impact Wrestling pay-per-views, and this was very similar to all of those. I thought that the TNA rebrand with the colors and the ropes and the music was, very nostalgic, very cool. But really, you take all that away and it's still a Impact Wrestling show with Impact Wrestling talent. But I thought that the energy was good on this show. I thought that there was a feeling like they haven't had in a long time in Impact TNA, where anything could happen. And did they deliver? I would give it a B on whether or not they delivered big surprises. The big signing tonight for TNA was the former Dolph Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth. And I think that him making his wrestling return at Wrestle Kingdom 2 weeks ago kind of took the wind out of it, because, it would have been better if we hadn't seen him since WWE at all. And here he comes to TNA. We already saw him 2 weeks ago, making his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut. So it kind of took the wind out of it. But still, he's a big name He's a big name. A lot of wrestling fans know him. Former WWE champion, and he's going to have some great matches there in TNA. So it's a very good signing for them. He walks into that promotion, the biggest star they have, right away, and so I can see exactly why he picked TNA over AEW, because he can go to AEW and be a top name, a top mid-card, upper mid-card, semi-main event guy. But there's other guys there that are bigger stars. A lot of other guys. But he goes to TNA, and he's the big fish. So I can see exactly why he went there. As far as the match quality on the show, Impact Wrestling, that's their bread and butter. In-ring work. They have a great roster. The only problem is that they're not the most well-known roster. That's what they need to work on. And going forward, if they're going to keep this buzz that they have going, they really need to really think hard about getting off Access TV. I know it's going to be tough because they're owned by Anthem, which owns Access TV. That's why they're on that channel. But they're never going to grow unless they get a big access to a bigger audience. So it's always going to be in that 100,000 range for ratings on that show. So, but thanks to this buzz, I think they can increase their when they do go on the road, their ticket sales and whatnot. So, but yeah, don't get me wrong, it's great to see TNA trying. They're trying. Their Anthem is putting money into the product. They're putting money into signing talent. They're really trying to make a go out of it and try to be that strong number 3 promotion in the United States. And let's see where they go from here. It's all about the follow-up with TNA. Back in the day, they always had great single shows, but they could never follow it up with anything. So let's hopefully they can follow it up with some good stuff over the next few months, because it's going to be really hard to keep that buzz, because both AEW and WWE have big stuff coming up in the next few months. Big stuff. So, all in all, I thought it was a good show. Match of the night for me was Kushida versus Chris Sabin versus Vikingo. You can't go wrong with Vikingo. He's great. And it was also good to see Hammerstone, formerly of MLW, making his TNA debut versus Josh Alexander. That was pretty cool to see. We'll see where Hammerstone ends up. I don't think he's signed with TNA right now, so he could really end up anywhere, WWE, AEW, or back at TNA. So now let's move on to the show that I watched live, AEW Collision and Battle of the Belts. I thought this was a great follow-up to Homecoming on Wednesday. I thought that it was very cool to see that they really put some good stuff on Battle of the Belts, which they haven't done, quite frankly, in the last few times that they did Battle of the Belts. So this time, they kicked off Battle of the Belts with Jericho and Sammy versus Starks and Big Bill in a literal street fight, which was great. It was a great visual to see them fighting out in the parking lot, in the streets, outside the arena, throughout the catering area, in the hallways, using weapons. It reminded me of the Stadium Stampede matches that they've had in Jacksonville in Vegas at Wembley. It was good stuff. And overall, you go back to Collision, and Collision had its own main event, which was House of Black, Malachi, Buddy, Brody versus FTR and Daniel Garcia. These guys, they brought it. They went about 20-25 minutes. They had the crowd at standing. They were chanting the whole match. It was great. That's what these guys do every Saturday. FTR, House of Black, and when Bullet Club Gold were having their big push on Collision, same thing with them. Big long matches, 20-minute matches, but great matches, and this was no exception. We also had a really cool moment between Dustin Rhodes and Christian Cage. I thought it was awesome to see that fire from Dustin, and stroke of genius to see Christian finally bring up Dusty Rhodes to Dustin, and that set up a match for Dynamite. Also, you had the in-ring debut of Deonna Purrazzo, who has been a absolute home run of a signing. I think that she brings so much to the women's division in terms of in-ring ability. She can make anybody look great. Okay, you can tell from watching the matches she's had so far with Red Velvet and with Anna Jay on Dynamite, that she is so good in the ring that she elevates her opponent. It's kind of like what Kenny Omega can do. You know, he's great. He's so good that he can make anybody else he's in the ring with look as good as he does. You know, that's the magic, I guess, of being a great wrestler. You're not only good yourself and you shine, but you can make others shine as well. And that's what she can do. We also had on the show Hangman Adam Page versus JD Drake, which was, in my opinion, the sleeper match of the night. Nobody thought this was going to be anything except me, maybe, because I'm a Hangman Page fan, and I think JD Drake is very underrated. And these guys, Tony said, here's 15 minutes, go out there and kill it. That's what they did. That's my review of that Saturday night of wrestling with 3 shows. And I'll be back in just a bit with another episode where I'm going to talk about Wednesday Dynamite and the Thursday news. I'll be right back.